Hi, Matt with eTrailer, and today we're talking about the Titan chains with a rubber tensioner, tire chains on a 2017 Honda Civic. Now this is going to be on our tire size 215, 55, R16, and we're going to have this on our front axle as what the manual recommends. Now this is going to fit a variety of different tire sizes. This is just the tire size we have today. If you are worried about this fitting your vehicle, what I'd recommend is just putting your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find what's going to be the correct fit for you. These are going to be a great set of chains for you, especially since we don't have to make any of our connections on the back because we don't have a whole lot of clearance with the Civic. And it's also going to be something that's going to be ideal for you if you live in a state that requires you to have chains or you're just trying to get through those light duty areas. But what's going to give us plenty of clearance is going to be these chains we have. These are actually going to be Class S. So what that means is that they're going to sit really close to your tire and leave plenty of room for your suspension up above. They're also going to be constructed from a alloy steel, so they're going to be very durable. And what I really like about them is even though they are roller links, they won't give you a whole lot of traction when you drive. More ideal for those light duty conditions. They're going to be able to roll over whatever you drive, and that's also going to provide you a smoother ride overall. We're going to have this diagonal pattern, and that diagonal pattern is going to give you a little bit more coverage as opposed to a ladder pattern, and that's going to help you make those turns while you're driving. And in the center, we're going to have this included rubber tensioner. Now, I'm definitely a big fan of this. This isn't common with a lot of roller link chains, but what it's going to do is, as you're driving, it's going to keep tension on the chain itself. Because what can happen is, as you drive, your chains can loosen up or shift, which can make them seem like they're loosening up. And this rubber tensioner is going to apply tension the entire time. Our chains are going to come in a set of 2 in this pretty light duty bag. Now, usually I might be a little worried about that, but since these are light duty chains, you really shouldn't tear this up too much. And what's really nice is that these chains aren't as springy as a lot of the other roller link chains. So when you roll them up, they're actually going to fit in here pretty nice. Now, if you're not a big fan of the bag design, you can invest in a small tote, but I think this will do you just fine too. And really, it can be pretty compact too, so it's not going to take up a whole lot of space in your vehicle. In my opinion, I think this is going to be one of my top picks for roller link chains because, like I said earlier, these are going to be really easy to install, and especially since we don't have a whole lot of clearance underneath our vehicle, putting chains on in general is going to be kind of tough. But with these, we're just making connections on the front, so that's going to be making it a lot doable. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to be maybe a little bit of an easier install and that's going to take up less space than these do, then I'd recommend snow socks. And how those work, they just wrap around your tires and you don't have to make any connections at all. And you really just fold them up and throw them in the back of your vehicle. But if you like something that just has a look that is going to be a little bit more beefier, I think this will be good too. But if you are curious about what this installation is going to look like, just stay tuned, we'll walk you through the process. To start off the installation, I recommend grabbing some gloves. It's just going to make this a lot easier. And if you are doing this for the first time, I recommend staying home because you don't want to have to figure this out on the side of the road in the middle of a blizzard. But what we're looking for is to make sure there's no damages to our links. Make sure everything's looking good. And we're making sure this is in the right orientation. So this area, this is tire side, we want that to be facing up. The other side is going to look like this, and if that makes contact with your tire, it could damage it. We also want to check the center, make sure this opening is closest to us, and that it is open for the moment. So if it's not, just make sure you do that, and it should look like that. When everything looks good, I'm just going to take the chains and push them behind our tire, reach around to the other side, and bring it over here. Once everything's looking pretty solid, I'm just gonna make sure I grab both of the back ends of the chain and make that connection up top near the back. You might have to pull on this just a little bit. It might be hard to see what I'm talking about, but you're going to have a link and a hook back here that we're going to connect just like so. Once we've connected that, we'll come around to the front and make this other connection up top. Just pushing one of these blocks through. I'm going to leave this a little loose for the time being because I want to make sure I can make this connection on the bottom. That's just going to be connecting this channel with this other block. I might have to pull on it a little bit more. Make sure everything's looking pretty even. Get that block through there. And with that connected, I'm just going to double check one more time and see if I can get this one up here a little bit tighter. I think I can. With that tightened up, just like I said earlier, make sure this looks pretty even. Then I'm going to grab my rubber tensioner. Connecting your rubber tensioner is just going to be making sure these hooks are facing away from your tire. That's just so they don't scratch anything up with the very lip of them. The flat side should be fine against your rim. And we're just going to be making a star pattern on this. Now you'll probably notice some of these are falling off. That's okay, they're really easy to get back on here. As you can just see, they just slide on. You just make sure that that larger opening on the hook is around your rubber itself. And the smaller one's going to be around the links or the cable of your chain. With this fully on, I just recommend giving it a good shake test, a pull test, make sure everything's feeling pretty good. And if it is, you can repeat that same process on the other side. Afterwards, I recommend either pulling forward or going back some just to make sure nothing's shifting too much and everything's looking pretty good. And if it is, you can take it for a ride. But that's just a look at the installation and some of the features of the Titan chains with a rubber tensioner on a 2017 Honda Civic. Thanks for watching.